You're watching the MAC on ESPN. It's the 101st anniversary of homecoming here in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And if Central Michigan wins today, they could set the table for a November to remember. But first, they got to get past UMass, who is here for the first time in over a decade. Welcome to Kelly Short Stadium on a perfect fall Saturday for football in the MAC. With the former Penn State Nittany Lion, Reginald Walker Jr., I'm Evan Stockton. Reg, table is set here for Central Michigan. They win today, and the next 2 weeks are Western Michigan and Buffalo, who come into this day undefeated in the conference. So how does Central Michigan make sure today's not a classic look-ahead game against winless UMass?
Well, if they watch the tape from last week with this UMass team against Buffalo, they'll see that this UMass team gave Buffalo, a good team in the MAC, everything that they wanted. This is a team that continues to improve, and their running game, I think, is a chance to be a catalyst for them.
Central Michigan's going to pound the rock. They threw the ball five times in their win on the road last week at Bowling Green. And very quickly, Nari Biggins is becoming a star.
Nari Biggins is one of those guys that you can trust to be a bell cow type of back. You see it there, 5 yards a carry. His ability to run inside and get to the outside and make big plays really buoys this offense. Another place he's dangerous is in special teams as a return guy. He can really change the game from that spot. And then on the other side of things, you look at this UMass team. Rocco Griffin went down earlier in the year with an injury. What happens? Brandon Hood steps in and does nothing but make plays. Goes for nearly 200 yards last week, 179 yards. And he's got the ability to take it the distance. We saw that speed with a 90-yard run. He's got to be the key for this offense.
Yeah, we'll see who totes that rock today for UMass. Brandon Hood is going to get the bulk of the carries, but Coach Joe Harris-Simiak's club could see Rocco Griffin come back today. It's to a team that's just trying to get healthy. The poor UMass Minutemen are literally walking onto the practice field and the field before games going, okay, who's healthy? As for Matt Drinkle's team, in his first season here in Mount Pleasant, he calls this place Winterfell. It's hard, it's tough. We are going to win football games by being hard and tough. And so far, they have looked that way in MAC play.
They really have, and you can go back to a lot of different aspects with Coach Drinkle, but part of it, to me, goes back to Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, where he started his college career.
The kick from Cade Graham. Keziah Dia-Johnson calls fair catch, so UMass will start the football after that. They've shuffled through 3 quarterbacks this year, Reg. A.J. Hairston, though, has taken over the job recently. What are you seeing out of this redshirt freshman from Florida?
I'm seeing great improvement. I see a guy that has improved his ability not only to push the ball down the field, but his recognition of what defenses are giving him. And then the other thing is his decision-making continues to get better. I think they've got to get ahead of the chains and not put him in predictable situations.
That's Jaquan Gibson in motion as the first give of the game is to Brandon Hood. And Corver Demo wraps him up in the backfield for a loss. UMass is happy to have Gibson in the lineup today. It's a weapon for A.J. Hairston. Number 2 for UMass, their best wide receiver. Back in the lineup, could give them options.
Yeah, he's 38th in the country in receiving yards. So he's a guy that gives them the ability to stretch this defense vertically.
Hood again gets back across the original line of scrimmage where Heldman and Decker get him. For an offense in UMass that also runs the ball, with A.J. Hairston here, they got to trust him on 3rd down and long.
Not only do they have to trust him, he's got to trust himself. He's got to trust his eyes in terms of what he sees from a coverage standpoint, and then let the football go instead of thinking about it and hesitating to make throws.
They motion Dowling. He's got it on 3rd down and 9. Hairston, incomplete. Pressure was coming from Heldman. I wonder if that ball was tipped.
Yeah, it looked like maybe his arm potentially got hit on the follow-through or something. But certainly Michael Heldman, a guy that we certainly expected to create some problems for this offense, already doing it. There it is right there. Yep, see, Heldman gets that left hand on Hairston's forearm, and that impacts the follow-through, which led to that ball being short.
Keegan Andrews, the punter from Australia for UMass, is one of the better ones, not just in the conference, but in the country. He'll kick it deep to Caleb Spann. Caleb back to field it, and he'll try to return it and not go anywhere. That's strong work on special teams. Dallas Elliott gets down and makes the tackle for the Minutemen.
Dallas Elliott's been really good for them in special teams the last few weeks. Another example there.
Quarterback situation for Central Michigan. Joe Labus is the starter, but we'll see a ton of Angel Flores. Labus is the quote-unquote passing quarterback, but he did run for a career-high 30 yards last week. It's not just when Labus is in there throwing, when Flores is in there running.
No, absolutely, and I think that's the key to this thing is they have plenty of tendency breakers with both of these quarterbacks.
They start with Biggins in the pistol. And Nari Biggins running in between the tackles. He's known as the explosive guy on the outside who can catch it out of the backfield, but he can run it in between the tackles too. And the Central Michigan line that's getting better and better each week.
Yeah, look at that left side of that offensive line. They just open it. That's not a hole. That's a crater for him to work off of, and he does an excellent job hitting it up the field quickly and picking up positive yards.
Same play, slightly different result. Barely gained a couple of yards there. It will be 3rd down and short. It's a UMass defense, Reg, that is just trying to make sure guys stay healthy. They got guys out all over the place. Brennan Bailey, who just made the tackle, has elevated. And on 3rd down here, Central Michigan will bring in Angel Flores. They love to run him in these spots.
They do love to run him in these spots. They like to get him toward the right side behind their right tackle, Martin Koivisto, as they call him Marty. He's a guy that can open some holes. If Flores keeps this football, I'd expect him to go that direction.
They'll run it left. He didn't need a lot. He didn't get a lot, but it will be Central Michigan 1st down.
Look at that, a tendency breaker right away, right? We talked about Koivisto, number 76, being a key. So what do? They know that that's on film. They work to the left side. They got extra bodies in there, including the fullback, Rusty Van Wetsinga, the 4th. And I had to say that, number 41, keep an eye on him throughout this game. He's going to lead you oftentimes to the football with his blocking ability.
Yes, kids, there is a position called fullback, and Central Michigan has one. They faked the reverse. Biggins kept the ball, and UMass didn't know what was coming. Nari Biggins at the end zone in his sights. He's tackled inside the 10. Zoran Daniel had to save the touchdown.
This is well executed. You're used to seeing full flow, so you see it going to the right, and you think, oh, it might come back to the left. No, it goes to the right. And what I love about this design, this is play calling timing, because they caught UMass in man coverage. So the defensive back down the field, number 12, Brennan Bailey, you'll see him eventually in the top of the screen. He had no idea the run was coming behind him because he was in one-on-one coverage. He couldn't come up to make that tackle.
Townsend checks in after the 58-yard run. Brock Townsend keeps his feet. Brock Townsend brought down by Daniel. Zoran Daniel on back-to-back plays has saved touchdowns for UMass.
How about Brock Townsend's patience, the redshirt freshman? Great eyes here. Watch him just kind of slow down in the backfield and wait for it to open up. Uses that left arm to get a defender off. I love that. And then he's physical through the hole. Nice play there for the young redshirt freshman, just waiting for something to open, and then he maximizes that space.
2nd down goal for the Chips. Run an option. Labus keeps. Oh boy, that gets dangerous near the goal line. He is not in. There's a tendency breaker. Labus run an option, but he stopped short.
Not only option, but he went with a little bit of a fake action early, but it was pitch relationship more than anything. Watch him fake it here as if there's something there, but does a nice job reading, holding on, and then cutting it upfield. This is good eyes. Watch him here. He's playing a game here on the edge. Little ball fake to the outside. I tell you what, that was really close.
Townsend stays in. 3rd down goal. That's who they give it to. The former Caledonia Fighting Scot is in for a Central Michigan touchdown. They threw it 5 times last week at Bowling Green. Same song, different verse to start this week against UMass.
Yeah, and it's just what I love about this for Coach Drinkle and his staff. This is about challenging the man in front of you. Hey, you know what's coming. Can you stop us in short yardage situation? We're going to be tougher than you. We're going to be more physical, and we're going to get in the end zone.
So one former Caledonia Fighting Scot scores the touchdown, and now another, Cade Graham, is on to tack on the extra point. Central Michigan on the 101st anniversary of homecoming. Back home to take on a team they haven't played in conference in over a decade, and they are being rude hosts. Matt Drinkle comes from outstanding stock in the world of football. He started as a high school coach in his home state, Iowa. He's got that Kirk Ferentz gene. Just spent 6 years in an outstanding staff at Army. He led one of the best offensive lines in the country last year. And Reg, it's not hard to see when you watch Matt Drinkle as this season goes along, this Central Michigan team is starting to embody everything he's been saying since he took the job.
Well, look at everywhere he's been. Kansas Wesleyan, you better figure out how to maximize the players that you have. A place like Army, 80% of your guys, particularly in the trenches, are undersized, especially to play in a league that they play in the American now. So when you come from those types of places, you figure out really quickly how to maximize the talent you have and then play to their strengths. And he's done an excellent job of that so far here at Central Michigan.
So now what I wonder after another fair catch, and UMass is about to get the football again, his team's 0-7. Last week at home, they had Buffalo dead to rights. But Buffalo comes back and wins. And now you got Central Michigan feeling good. Brock Townsend's dancing on the sidelines. UMass has already gone 3-and-out. How does A.J. Hairston and the group get comfortable on this drive?
I think the first thing, I would actually change up some tendencies. I'd look to maybe throw the ball with some underneath stuff or maybe some screens on first down and just get ahead of the chains to open your playbook up a little bit.
We'll throw on first down. Hairston takes a shot, and it's incomplete. Elijah Ricard almost had a pick.
I like the design there, but I think if he's quicker getting back through his progression, I think he would have found a way to get the ball to Jack McConaughey out on the left side. He was right there, probably 2 yards down the field in that flat area. You throw him the football, that's a 4 or 5 yard gain, and now you're in a good spot getting ready for second down.
They motion Kenyon Massey. Hairston tucks and runs here, and he's got a lot of daylight. Hairston did that last week against Buffalo, and A.J. Hairston has the first splash play of the day for the Minutemen.
That's a good read that time. They brought the tight end Max Dowling across the formation. They had him out in the flat. It was one-on-one with him and a defender. The defender goes with Dowling at the tight end position. So what do? Quarterback, you just cut up the field right behind that and pick up a first down. Great job by Hairston.
Back to Brandon Hood. Out away from Heldman the first time, and then Span stepping up from the secondary with a strong hit.
Go back to the previous play. You see number 11 right there, Dowling. He's right out in front. See, now you have to make a decision. The linebacker goes with him, so you just cut underneath right where they went and vacated, and you pick up a first down. So that's a good read. And then the next play, they get the ball to Hood. By the way, Heldman, number 97, a great job chasing that play down from the backside for the Chips.
Play fake, long throw, that is caught. That is another UMass first down. Brendan Diaz-Fernandez wraps up Donnie Gray Jr. right away, but UMass offensively has a little bit of juice.
I think they got to look for more of these throws. You see soft coverage up there at the top of the screen. Just throw it out there. Get what you can. Listen, you can't go broke taking a profit. You got to take 3 or 4 yards. Keep taking it. Then they'll roll up. Then you can take deep shots.
Rocco Griffin's first carry, back in the lineup, making things happen. Oh, they're happy to have him back. He's gone. 43-yard touchdown. Welcome back, Rocco Griffin. Wow.
Yeah, they just work to the right side. That's really a good job by Max Dowling. Takes the defender where he wants to go. Griffin recognizes, bounces to the outside, and there's nobody there to set the edge on the backside. It becomes a foot race. He's stepping over lines in the end zone. Welcome back, Mr. Griffin.
And for a UMass team that has to feel like they just can't catch a break, nobody's healthy. Nobody's coming back. Well, Rocco's coming back, and he may have just tied the game. Derek Morris does indeed tie the game as he slams through the extra point. And if you're UMass on that sideline, you are finally smiling. The sun's out in Mount Pleasant, and this football game's tied. For a football team in UMass that hasn't won a game yet this year, and for a football team in UMass that has so many guys hurt, walk-ons are now on the 2-deep. This is great news for them. Rocco Griffin, who's been injured and out recently, back in the lineup. And what does he does, Reg? The first time he touches the ball, 43 yards to the house.
Yeah, now you start thinking about the 1-2 punch you have with Rocco Griffin and Brandon Hood and what you can do in terms of being more efficient in your running game. You're able to keep both guys fresh as well. I think it adds such a dimension. And oh, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if later in the season we start seeing both of those guys on the field at the same time with Hairston at the quarterback position. Now you got 3 threats out of that backfield that can create a problem with their legs.
Some life for Joe Harasimiak's team. Marcus Lai to kick it deep. The guy who handles the kickoffs and the guy who punts for UMass are both from Australia. They're a long way from home. Brock Townsend, who just scored the touchdown on the return. Special teams for UMass, rallying to the ball. Again, that's Dallas Elliott. He made the tackle on the earlier punt return for Central Michigan, and now he makes the tackle here on the kickoff return.
And here's the other thing. If I'm Central Michigan, I look for every opportunity I can to return kicks. This is a UMass kickoff unit that's averaging 29, giving up 29.5 yards per return. So you want to maximize the opportunities when they do kick it off. You try to maximize that with good returns.
They will start this drive with Flores, and Biggins the back behind him. Flores keeps. Angels got room. Brought down from behind after a solid game that will be a first down for Central Michigan. Donovan Dyson, one of those guys who's starting because of other injured guys, makes the tackle.
Yeah, it's just a really nice play by Dyson on the back end, but on the front side of this thing, how about the fullback number 41, Rusty Van Wetzinga IV. I'm going to always say his full name because I just like his name, but he does a nice job staying out in front. And what that force was, Malcolm Green had to just come in submarine to try to take him out so they could get Flores on the ground.
Play fake this time. Labus long roll and throw back across his body. Found the open man over the middle. They love to cycle through guys at the tight end spot. This time it's Henry Dryden's turn to move to 6.
Yeah, this is well done by Labus. He's looking up the sideline initially, and there's nothing there, and then he brings his eyes all the way back across. So initially they were looking deep. I think that was Langston Lewis, number 20, up the field, up the sideline. He's not open. DeCorian Temple's the sort of intermediate number 8. He wasn't open. Then they get to Dryden all the way back across.
Trey Cornist has checked in. The third different guy to carry the rock. Couldn't keep his feet. Excellent open field tackle for the Minutemen. That was Bailey stepping up from his cornerback spot.
And Bailey continues to improve his ability in the running game to come up as a corner and tackle in space. That's another example. That's just a really good job. If he allows that Cornish to get outside of him, all of a sudden, that's a big play down the sideline. So well done at that time by Barnes making the tackle, or I should say Bailey making the tackle in space.
Flores back in at quarterback. And he's keeping and finding a lot of green turf. Angel Flores knocked down hard by Daniel. Angel Flores running left has been the recipe for success on this drive.
They formation their way into this. See, out to the right side, opposite of where they went, they had 2 wide receivers stretched out wide, so that pulled the safeties that way just a little bit. They had to shade. So what do? You run back to the wide side of the field, away from those receivers. There's nobody on the backside. They didn't do an excellent job of setting the edge backside, and they get a nice pickup that time for another first down.
Quarterback shuffle continues. Labus back in. Give Townsend. And he's upended as he hit that hole and gained about 4 or 5 yards. It's a nice tackle by Malcolm Green, but there is so much space right now in the middle.
Yeah, this offensive line is doing what we call yeoman's work. I believe in there at center right now is Apisa Pomele out of American Samoa. Does an excellent job on that play, just rooting the defensive linemen out of there to create space. They can run right up the middle.
Flores in here, 2nd down 6. Roll. Angel looking back. This is a throw back to Townsend. Brock Townsend, a stat sheet stuffer in the first quarter for the Chips. 26 yards, and the guy who's supposed to be the running quarterback drops a dime here.
Yeah, they got number 38, Zeron Daniel, kind of looking in the backfield. His eyes got dirty. Looks across to see the roll to the right and loses track of Townsend slipping out the backside. He's a step and a half late, and they're able to drop that in for a big completion. Very, very well executed.
They are above average. 71% run plays on the year. They've run it 11 times today in 13 plays. Flores stays in. Brock Townsend into the end zone. I think today may be the coming out party for Brock Townsend. His first 2 touchdowns of the season have come in the first quarter today.
It's just real simple. They bring, here comes the pull, right? You see the offensive lineman, Brady Plocha, come across, leads the way up inside. Just follow the big guy. I'm going to follow every bit of 6'5", 305, and I'm going to walk in the end zone if I'm Townsend.
His first 2 rushing touchdowns of the season. He's caught a couple through the air, but they are finding holes for Brock on the ground. And his old high school teammate, Kate Graham, slams through the extra point. Brock Townsend dancing into the paint again, and Central Michigan back on top. We opened the broadcast talking about it. You would forgive Matt Drinkel's team, the Central Michigan Chippewas, if they didn't look past winless UMass today. But when we talked to him on our coach's call leading up to this broadcast, this was the quote. We have 12 of these games on our schedule. Everybody, and I mean everybody, is a vitally lethal threat to our existence. Are we allowed to say that on television?
Well, we just did. Well, you said it, not me. But I get his point, right? And what he's saying is everybody, every single team we play has a chance to beat us and therefore derail our season. And I think that is what the right kind of focus is. Every week, we have to look at every single opponent and approach them the same way, as if they could completely derail our season by beating us. It's a very aggressive way to say we take every game seriously.
Right. Jaquan Gibson is back on the field. Top wide receiver for UMass, who's missed the last couple of games, played on the first drive, didn't play on the second. Number 2's on the near side of your screen. Brandon Hood back in at running back. He's dancing, trying to find a hole. He didn't find a whole heck of a lot, as a whole pack of Chippewas came to get him. Jordan Kwiatkowski, the reigning MAC Defensive Player of the Week, was in there, along with Maddox Blackwell.
Well, folks, if you want to see linebacker play, just fixate your eyes on number 12 there, Kwiatkowski. He is a baller.
Tempo for the first time, and there he is, dropping the pass. Jaquan Gibson. Maybe that was a little rust.
It likely was, but like you said earlier, how do you get Hairston going? You can't make those kind of drops, right? This is a great opportunity. This is an explosive play, and I think he's ready to take off running, and he doesn't bring it in. You mentioned he's missed some time with injury. It was a game-time decision today. Gibson right there, that's a big opportunity wasted, but I suspect they'll find him again in this football game and give him a chance for redemption.
Maybe it's coming here. The center forgot to snap the ball. The real question is, who do they call the false start on? You could pick between a bunch of guys.
They're down.
Well, they called poor Gibson, so he drops the pass 10 seconds ago, and then they call him for false start.
Well, and that should have been one of those everybody but the center deals, right? Like, I mean, you had a wide receiver, Kenyon Massey, going in motion and then working up the field. Like, nobody was on the same page except the center.
Third down, 14. Hairston facing pressure. He's going down. Corver demo the initial pressure, and then Kwiatkowski finished the job.
Yeah, how about Corver Dema working his way up the field? He's at the top of the screen. He's working in tandem with Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski kind of loops to the middle, but Dema forces him to step up right into the chest of Kwiatkowski, and then they close it out. Also jumping in and getting a piece of that, J.J. Douglas.
And now Andrews has got a punt from in his own end zone. Caleb Spann standing at the 40 for Central Michigan. Got it away, facing pressure. Spann lets it bounce, and it hit a Minuteman, one of the gunners. That was Dia Johnson. And Central Michigan will have pretty good starting field position here. An offense that has had 2 drives and already scored a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and nothing but the run, right? Just basically saying, we're just going to bludgeon you until you submit. They're trying to break the will of this UMass team. And here's the key, right? How does UMass respond? This is a team that's really struggled, obviously hasn't won a game. If you get them down, do you have the mindset that maybe they won't respond? I think that's the approach you have to take right now if you're Central Michigan.
Flores starts the drive, runs left again. That was the money play on the last drive. This time it gains a couple of yards as Tyler Martin makes the tackle.
Yeah, this is a UMass team that, again, winless, but trying to figure it out. 19 straight losses. Just a tough situation to deal with. One of the things that you think about with this team, they're going to have to deal with a serious running game today. They're missing 2 of their starting defensive linemen. Look, they have 16 D linemen on the roster. Every one of them better be prepared to play today because they might need all of them.
Flores to throw again. Look at that gorgeous dime. Langston Lewis, the beneficiary of a gorgeous pass.
Yeah, they get one-on-one coverage against number 12, Brennan Bailey. And with the play action and the rollout, they just bring everything one way, and he's coming back on what they call a big post, coming back the other way. It's one-on-one coverage. Put the ball out there and let him run under it. If he's got to step on the defender, it's game over. And that time, that's exactly what it was, another explosive play down inside the 10-yard line.
I thought Angel Flores was supposed to be the running quarterback. That was a pretty good-looking pass to me. He'll run it here, and he'll score a touchdown. His 4th in the last 2 weeks.
Flores this time again. It's just, Everybody working to the left, and he just waits, lets all the blocks get set up, cuts back up inside, and he steps over lines for the 9-yard touchdown.
Ran for 3 touchdowns last week at Bowling Green. And Cade Graham has been a busy man kicking the football in this first quarter for Central Michigan. Slams the extra point through and boosts the lead to 14, the largest of the afternoon for the Chips.
It's just a great job here. They're working to the left. He's got 3 guys out in front to block 3 defenders. And as long as everybody gets a piece of somebody, it's a walk-in touchdown. Again, take a look. Look at Biggins. Steps up, makes a nice block to the outside, and allows Flores to get back up inside. Just a great read, good vision, good patience by the quarterback as well, and a good job everybody chipping in. And then earlier in the drive, right, here's the big throw to set everything up. Flores works. See him working. See, the first thing he does is he looks left to verify that there's no backside safety, and then he waits for his receiver, Lewis, to come across his face, and then he can put it out there in front and let him go get it. So again, great recognition early in the pass game to recognize no backside safety, so I'm safe to throw the big post, and then everything clears, and I'll put it out there in front of him.
Jim Chapin told us in the lead up to this game, I know that everyone thinks right now when Labus is in, we're throwing, when Flores is in, we're running. So I got to start breaking tendencies. That last drive, Angel Flores may have broken some tendencies. Dia Johnson, the first return of the day for UMass, and he can't get to the 20, barely got to the 15. How about that tackle on special teams for Central Michigan, Tyson Campbell?
And you mentioned the tendency breakers. These aren't tendency breakers. These are just flat out scouting report ruiners. Because at this point right now, you're looking at an offense that doesn't matter what quarterback's in there. You got to defend everything. As you see the nice tackle again there on special teams. And right now, Central Michigan definitely, outside of that one drive from UMass, they've been dominant in this game.
Rocco Griffin gets the ball. Last time he touched it, he was running for 43 yards for a touchdown. This time he gains about 5. As the tackle is made by Dema.
The most important thing right now for UMass, I think, 2 first downs. You get a first, obviously you're likely going to have the ball through the end of the first quarter. You pick up a second first down, now all of a sudden your defense gets 7 to 10 minutes of rest over there on that sideline.
Griffin again, and he met a wall. Suffocated by Jonathan Decker. And he wants a little noise before 3rd down.
Yeah, big number 98 will do that to you. Anytime that big guy gets free working up the middle, it's going to be problematic for anybody. He just, not only does he have his hands on the back, but he's taking the offensive lineman, Brock Taylor, number 69, backwards as well.
Could be the final play of the quarter. Massey went in motion. Hairston running out of time. Left the pocket, got slowed up by Cochran. There is a very late flag on the play. J.J. Douglas, the converted tight end, made the tackle.
I think they're going to get...
We got to check this flag.
I think it's going to be Kalen Carroll, maybe defensive holding around the 40-yard line. So this likely will be an automatic first down.
Holding. Defense, number 4. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
On Jayon Jackson.
Yeah, they say it's on Jayon Jackson. He wasn't near the play. I thought, and usually officials, they throw the flag right near where the penalty is. That's where Carroll was.
That's
so
the
a
end
break
of the first quarter
for UMass. They'll keep the football as we start the second quarter. Central Michigan hasn't gotten to play a ton of home games this year. It's just their 3rd, and they just dropped 21 in the first quarter on homecoming. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with all new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. This is one of those days, fire up the ESPN app and watch as much college football as you possibly can. High-level ball all over the place, and action is going on here in Mount Pleasant. She's fired up.
I love it. I love it. Enjoy college football. We only get 12 opportunities at these.
Hairston throw, and it's incomplete. There are a lot of moving parts to that play.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, but that's one you got to find a way to bring that ball in and pick up a nice gain there. And just give your offense just a little bit of a boost. Got to pull that one in.
They were hoping for Jax Markovich. We told you they're shuffling through a lot of new bodies. He was not on the depth chart we received earlier this week. Trying to piece it together. Hairston has got Max Dowling, but he dropped the ball. I honestly wonder, with the way that the sun is now on the field, if UMass receivers aren't having problems with this. Dowling and Gibson, their two best, have both dropped balls.
Yeah, and that one in particular, that's a first down. Hairston had a right read right there at the top of the screen. He's wide open, sitting down underneath that safety in that too-high look. You got to be able to bring that in. If you can bring that in, you move the chains, and your offense is feeling that much better about itself. Now you got 3rd and long.
Dema may have jumped. Hairston may have got him with a hard count.
Ball start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Coach Simiak, I think he's got a right to be confused here, because Corver Dema was tapping his chest saying, my bad, and he got lucked out because they called the penalty on UMass.
Well, the other piece of that, too, Corver Dema is the defensive end on the right side, which means he's on the left of the offensive line. The right guard is who they called the false start on, and that's what made Dema move. I think that's where Coach Simiak is questioning that call as well.
UMass has not converted a 3rd down yet. Got to convert here, 3rd and 15. Hairston hit again, as guess who? Michael Heldman had the pressure again.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure out a way to get Heldman under control on some of these 3rd downs. Maybe they start chipping him. Maybe they start to roll and move Hairston one way or the other away from him. But they've got to get him under control, because he's creating a ton of problems. They can't block him one-on-one so far in this game.
Keegan Andrews back out there. One of the better putters in the conference. Lets another good one go. Checked up on him. You want that on the golf course. You do not want that on the football field if you're a punter. And it'll be better starting field position for Central Michigan. An offense that, it's been fascinating to watch it evolve throughout the season. Trey Cornish started as the lead back on opening night at San Jose State. Then it was Nari Biggins. Today, Brock Townsend stepping into the spot.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman showing his ability to do everything that they're asking him to do in this playbook. Working up inside, getting tough yards, getting to the outside, showing that speed, and most importantly, a nose and eyes for the end zone as he punches it in right there.
They start this drive with Labus. Long throw, caught on that sideline by Tommy McIntosh. 1st down for Central Michigan. Nice connection here between an Iowa transfer and a Wisconsin transfer.
How about that throw by Labus? Nick Hawthorne was out there in that flat area. He's underneath this route, but that arm is so strong. Labus is able to drop that in there before Hawthorne can get out there and get his hand up and knock that one away. Well done. Great execution, but I like the call as well. An easy completion opportunity, and Labus delivers.
They'll shift the formation. Cornish, the deep back. Trey Cornish behind a couple of blocking backs. How about this one? The Tulane transfer Trey Cornish, a human pinball.
First he goes pinball with the shoulder, and then he goes to the long arm of the law right there, and then right there again. Look at him, dips the shoulder into the first defender right there, and then it becomes stiff arm central. He's delivered him to the face of every defensive back he can find to pick up that 1st down.
You know, Trey's saying, okay, Brock and Nari are getting all the reps today. Let me run the rock. They'll feed him again. And Trey Cornist is tackled in the secondary by Malcolm Green. If he doesn't make that tackle, that may be touchdown.
Well, that's the other thing about this, what's happening in this running game. This offensive line is doing whatever they want. You talking about somebody eating? This offensive line is swallowing up defenders at the first and second level. Oftentimes, we're seeing the first bit of contact come from defensive backs against this running game. That tells you what the offensive line is doing to the first and second levels.
Flores subs in. Angel running all the way. Took hard contact from a couple of Minutemen. Did get the first down inside the 15. But Angel, a little worse for wear, got crunched.
And the other thing I think that they do to you that you don't realize as you see big number 69 there come across Jacob Booth and open some space. The other thing they do, they formation you into a light box, and then they run into that light box. So you'll see two wide receivers go to the outside sometimes, then they just run up inside. So they formation you, they give you a look to make you think pass, and then what do? They go opposite there. 75% rushes here.
Play fake to Cornist. Labus running away from pressure. Throwing back. Oh, it's incomplete. Now Langston Lewis drops the football. Each team has a case of the drops.
Yeah, that was a situation where you got to make that catch. This is actually a really, really good throw by Labus when you think about it. This is a right-handed quarterback working to his left and had to try to drop it over number 38, Zeron Daniel, and he put it right on his face mask. He just wasn't able to bring it in. That's a drop. That's just a flat-out drop.
You honestly wonder if the sun is posing a problem here.
That, and I wonder if the velocity was an issue there because it went right through Lewis's hands. You wonder if maybe he thought there was a little bit less velocity on that one.
Labus keeps, and he's brought down from behind. Marcus White, the best pass rusher that UMass had last week, makes the tackle here and makes it 3rd and long.
That's a nice play that time by White, chasing that thing down, showing that speed. And now Flores is going to come back in the ball game, which means absolutely nothing. They might be switching quarterbacks, but they're still just calling the offense.
Coming into the day, if number 7 was coming in for Central Michigan, that meant run. But Angels proved today, I can throw, don't worry. Townsend will be the back, 3rd down, 11. They'll run. And Flores is stopped shy of the 10. With that play call, is there any thought to go for it now?
I think there was a little bit of thought to that. I think if they would have got it within maybe a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, I think they would have went for it. Because being that it's 4th and 6-ish, 4th and 7, obviously the field goal unit's going to come out here. But I think that was to see if they could get within 2 or 3 yards and then potentially go for it.
Look, when you watch a football game in the state of Michigan these days, you just assume the coach is going for it. you just assume, you know?
Shout out to Dan Campbell.
It's the bye week. Maybe he's watching.
He definitely is watching.
Cade Graham slams through the field goal and pushes the lead to 3 scores, 17 for Central Michigan. On their homecoming, they're having fun. a busy day for Cade Graham. Just made a 29-yard field goal, and he's already made 3 extra points. Get ready for this story. So Cade Graham, when he was at Caledonia, he didn't play football. He was a star soccer player. He wrestled. But during COVID, when Cade didn't have a whole heck of a lot to do, he was bored, so he went to his high school's football field and was kicking field goals and thought, I'm pretty good at this. And that's stuck in the back of his mind. So he comes here to Central Michigan. He's just a student, but he ends up going out to football tryouts in 2023. Does a great job. The coaches tell him, Cade, you're really good. We don't have room for you this year. Come back next year. So he does. He makes the team, and now he's their starting kicker this year.
How about that? That's a great story for a guy that sometimes you never know when you're going to find your love. He found his late in his high school career and makes it work out for him here in college. I'll say this. Shout out to him, wrestling and soccer. That's an athlete.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robbie Gold, who was my college kicker. He's an athlete. I saw Robbie Gold hoop one day, and I went, wait, this guy's a kicker and he can hoop like that? You got to love super athletic kickers. Cade Graham showing the ability. Wrestler and a soccer player. I love that.
I believe as an ESPN employee, I'm contractually obligated to mention that Pat McAfee was also a star soccer player.
Yes, he was.
Want to give me some of that money you're giving away to all those kickers on game day, Pat? Hairston had it knocked down. J.J. Douglas knocked it down. This is a heck of a play by the converted tight end.
This is a ridiculous play. Watch Douglas. Look, first of all, he had the wherewithal and the ability to recognize the fake going away, and that Hairston still has the football. See, he sees it right there, and then gets his hands up, nearly picks that ball off, and while he's knocking the ball away, still gets a hold of Hairston. He actually may have knocked that ball away. I think Hairston was about to catch it, and Douglas knocked it out of his hands to force the incompletion.
This is Rocco Griffin running into the teeth of the defense and gaining 3 yards.
And if you're UMass, you cannot abandon the run, particularly here in the first half. I know you're down 24-7, but if you start to abandon the run and become one-dimensional this early in the game, it allows this defensive front to tee off on your young quarterback. So you still have to mix in the run here, keep those guys honest, and hopefully one of your guys, like Rocco did in the first quarter, can pop a big run, and all of a sudden you're in plus territory with a chance to put some points on the board.
Massey the man in motion. Hairston quick drop. Heldman's coming. He's rolling away, and it's incomplete. Heldman had the initial pressure. The cleanup came late on the pressure from Dylan Fisher, and UMass going to punt again.
I think they got to potentially look at maybe some of their, look at that play sheet. What do you have that moves Hairston around off the spot? Get him a chance to get out on the edge, see the field a little more cleanly, maybe some levels routes, and make some easier throws and get him into a little bit of a better rhythm throwing the football.
Another punt for Keegan Andrews, the Texas A&M transfer. Heard a rumor they got a big game tonight. This one drive, span back. What a punt from Keegan Andrews. They are putting him on Ray Guy lists all season long, and that thing was a beauty. Long field for Central coming up. Central Michigan offense, which hasn't been stopped yet today, is back on the football field. UMass is back in Mount Pleasant for the first time since 2013, when apparently ESPN3 broadcast hadn't upgraded to high definition. Central Michigan in that game rolled UMass 37-0. Central Michigan, when UMass was last year in the conference, played them twice and beat them by a combined score of 79-21.
Yeah, that's what I'd call dominant as we see flags here before the snap, and I think it's going to be an encroachment here.
That's what Joe Labus, the quarterback for Central, thinks.
Offside, defense, number 8. Movement in the neutral zone causing an offensive reaction. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's a Quan Robinson who has been playing more and more as those injuries have mounted for UMass.
That's one of those, you just don't give this offense yards, especially the way they run the football. Now they really can set you up to maybe attack you vertically on a, if they get 3 yards here, all of a sudden it's 2nd and 2. Look out.
Biggins the deep back. Nari Biggins taking a couple of Minutemen for a ride. Took Tyler Martin for an extra yard or 2 there and moved the sticks. 11th first down of the half for the Chips.
They're patient with the offense. The running backs do an excellent job. They don't overrun anything, and what I mean by that is they allow the offensive line to set those blocks up. They don't try to get there too fast, and then they don't run to the water bucket, as they say, and bounce it too quickly. They stay patient, and they get good yardage up inside.
Biggins again, up the middle again, and good yardage on first down for Central Michigan, who so far in this football game has scored 3 touchdowns. In the last drive, stalled in the red zone, but they did kick that chip shot field goal. Last week, they threw it exactly 5 times. But today, Reg, we are seeing Central Michigan sprinkle in a lot more of the passing game.
Well, the other thing you can't love about that if you're UMass, not that you want this to happen, but all of those are less than 10 plays. If somebody's going to go 80 yards, you got to find a way to make them earn it 10, 12 plays, and hopefully there's a mistake somewhere in there, and you can get off the field on defense.
These runs for Nari Biggins, right in the teeth of the defense, are not sexy. They're not 88-yard catch and run for touchdowns like Biggins had earlier this year against a Wagner, but they are effective. It's another first down.
Yeah, and also remember, number 91, Shamel Davis, is not in there at that nose tackle position, so they're already down there, so now they're thinner in that defensive front, so now you just keep running downhill. Malachi Madison in there, a guy who's not normally getting as many snaps as he'll get today. Force him and Tim Grant Randall to hold up for 60-plus snaps, running the football down their throat. That's very difficult to do.
Labus on the roll, finds Dryden. That's his 2nd catch. Short gain on first down.
Yeah, short gain, but again, you can't just sit there defensively and just expect all they're going to do is run the ball on first down. He does a nice job. Labus, he's got pressure in his face, and what he does, he's like, okay, I'll just dump it off, get it to my guy, and we'll get a couple of yards. That's fine. We're just going to take what we can get every single play.
Flores back in, already run for 1 touchdown today. He's running here. Angel Flores brought down by his shoe tops. They were hanging on for dear life. Tyler Martin took Angel down by his shoes.
And this is what UMass has to do. They have to make them keep lining up. But the thing about Flores that I think is great, and this is a quarterback, but look, always falls forward. You never see either of these quarterbacks, Labus either, or any of these running backs going backwards when they get hit. Everything is forward. They all have good body lean and excellent contact balance by the running backs.
Joe Labus is checked back in here. 3rd down short. Give Biggins, and he stood up. He doesn't have the first down. Their decision to make here for Central Michigan?
No,
you punt.
You punt the football. You're up 3 scores. You got to feel pretty good. You just go ahead and punt the football. Your defense has been really good. You're likely, right, because of the way your defense is played, as you see there, the stop up the middle. It's just a great job. Tim Grant Randall, number 11 there. He's celebrating, but he made part of that play by creating such penetration up the middle, but go ahead and flip the field. And if UMass can't pick up a first down, you'll get really good field position again.
Dooley's punt, a high hanger. Massey fields inside the 10, and he was sandwiched. Jordan Kwiatkowski is not the man you want to run into on a punt return. UMass football after this. Homecoming here at Central Michigan. The crowd here at Kelly Short Stadium hasn't been able to watch their home team a ton this year. It's just their third home game. They've been great here at home the last 3 years. Central Michigan 10-3 at Kelly Short Stadium. And look, it's late October. By the time this game ends, we're going to dip into the 40s. So to stay warm, yeah, you kind of got to move around and dance kind of like an idiot. And I say that with love because that's a lot better than I would do. Me at weddings it's a lot of fun, but it's just terrible dancing. A.J. Hairston hands to Rocco Griffin, and he doesn't get a lot. Jordan Kwiatkowski makes another tackle.
Kwiatkowski making a tackle is like that's the epitome of redundant. We might as well have clipped you off in saying that and just roll it back throughout this game. He's probably going to have about 20 of those. He had, what, 17 last week. That guy's unbelievable at that linebacker spot. This time he's blitzing.
Hairston caught. For a team that struggled with drops today, this is a really nice catch from Kenyon Massey.
Not only a nice catch, but the toughness of Hairston. He knew he was getting ready to take one right in the chest, and he stood in there, made a nice throw, and they picked up the first down.
That's one of those throws where it feels like a young quarterback, and A.J. Hairston is growing up right in front of us.
He really is, and his toughness, I think, is the thing that shows the most to me on a consistent basis.
Griffin met by 3 guesses. First 2 don't count. Kwiatkowski another tackle.
You see the previous play. This is the throw we're talking about. Watch Hairston. He knows he's going to get hit right in the chest. He just stands in there and makes a strong throw as Dakota Cochran was breathing down his neck.
They'll shift the formation here. Massey comes to the slot near side. Hairston to throw. Looking right. Throwing that way. Incomplete. Hoping for Dia Johnson, and Brendan Diaz-Fernandez was right there in coverage.
Yeah, Diaz-Fernandez, I love that guy's ability. Plays really well in phase. That's 6 feet tall, almost 200 pounds. Good speed, uses his hands well as a corner. physical corners. Nice job there, but this guy, Jordan Kwiatkowski, are you kidding me? He just finds a way to get to the football. Reigning Defensive Player of the Week in this league, and his ability to detonate, which means diagnose and go, I think is amongst the best in college football as just a pure linebacker.
Hairston check down, a lot of room for Rocco Griffin, and he's close to the first down. He doesn't have it, but now you're in a situation where you may go for it.
Well, he hesitated for a quarter of a second after he got the football, and that might have cost him first down yardage, but looks like they're going to go for it. Brandon Hood back in the game, so they're going to give Hood a chance. Look, Griffin, they're both about 200 pounds, so Griffin is not that, what I would call bigger than Hood, but I think here, yep, you see him get under center. This may be a quarterback sneak here.
They've struggled on fourth downs this year. Just 2 of 11.
They're trying to draw him off.
They will sneak it right up the middle. Did Hairston get enough? The initial spot, he did not.
He had a chance, Evan, if he just kind of rolls to his left a little bit, and there it is, he's short. But if he just kind of moves a little bit to his left, he can roll off the pile. Watch him here. If he rolls off the pile to his left, he picks up a first down. See right there, but instead he tries to take a step and reach out instead of just rolling and falling forward. And because of that, they get a hold of him. See, he's got a chance. And then Kwiatkowski and the rest of that defense, they do a great job. Gordon's in there as well. And Kwiatkowski knew it. He is fired up. Elijah Gordon was the guy that made the tackle there, the big hit on Hairston to keep him from getting there.
Now does Central Michigan pay it off? Labus throw, DeCorian Temple catch. The former Eaglet at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. He's known more as a blocker. This time he gets to show off the hands.
Yeah, he's a blocker, but he's also a rebounder, a jump shot maker, part of the basketball team as well. DeCorian Temple, an absolute stud. They use him a lot in motions, but you mentioned it. He absolutely loves to block people in the running game. Keep an eye on him. If you see some big runs pop for this offense, he's likely got a piece of the action in the blocking game.
Biggins, nothing. Good job in the defensive line that time for UMass. Liking what they're seeing on that play. Aquan Robinson makes the tackle, and it's third down.
Aquan Robinson, he just continues to improve, makes plays more and more often. One of those guys that's going to continue to get more snaps as we go through this season.
It's been all Labus on this drive. Been given word that Angel Flores has gone to the locker room.
That is interesting.
Quick drop, and Labus is sacked. UMass defense stiffens up as Marcus White, the sack, his 5th of the season. He now has sacks in 5 different games.
Timeout.
Yeah, they did an excellent job. Everybody's covered up in that man coverage back there. And then White's able to just come up and make that play. Big time stop that time for this Minutemen defense.
Defense has ruled the last couple of minutes at Kelly Short Stadium. Central Michigan and UMass standing tall. UMass defense has gotten a couple of stops in a row. Declan Dooley back on the field, the punt for Central Michigan. Kenyon Massey is standing at his 10. He sends it high. Massey lets it bounce, and it goes into the end zone. Justin Ruffin, unexpecting, sees that football bound by him into the end zone. So touchback and UMass football. Coming up in the half, we'll take a look back at some of the highlight plays from Maction over the last couple of weeks, and we'll recap the first half, get you ready for the second half here at sunny Kelly Short Stadium. Central Michigan, Reg, gets the ball to start the second half. So this is where we go game within a game, right? UMass has the 3 timeouts, and as Hairston and the group come back on the field, it really feels like they got to get points here.
Yeah, they have to have points, and they've got to be the last ones with the ball in this half. The last thing you want to do is give Central Michigan another opportunity. The way they've been able to be explosive, they'll likely go down and get some points. So you have to take up the rest of this half and get points here.
Rocco Griffin's the running back with Hairston. Picks up the blitz, and Markovich makes the catch, but I wonder if honestly he should have dropped the ball because he lost a yard and the clock keeps running.
I was thinking the same thing. He may have been better off dropping that ball.
Well, it's a loss of 1. UMass got to hurry now. Hairston with time. Check down to Griffin. He's crushed by Cochran. Good gain, though, third down.
Yeah, that's a good decision, right? Take what they're going to give you. Use all of the field. You mentioned it earlier. You got 3 timeouts left, so use all of the field. And then the other thing is anytime you go to the middle, if you pick up a first down, the clock stops initially anyway.
Hairston run. Stop short. And Central Michigan calls timeout as Keyshawn Hayden brought down the quarterback.
You wonder there, Evan, if maybe something, there might have been a miscommunication, it looked like, on that particular play, because the way Hairston kind of turned and froze, you wonder if maybe there was supposed to be a back coming that way or something, some kind of a fake. I'm not sure, but it didn't look clean on that particular snap.
So now Central Michigan, like you were saying, UMass cannot see Central touch the ball again in the first half. Well, they're about to. And Chippewas also have the 2 timeouts left after this stop.
Watch Hairston here, top right of your screen. See him turn, and he just kind of freezes and then follows Rocco right up the middle. I'm not sure if maybe there was a timing off or a miscommunication on the play call. I'm not sure, but it didn't look clean on that particular snap. And now you wonder, here you go, you're in a situation, right? You don't have great field position. They're going to send the offense back out.
What do you think
I'll
about
tell you
this?
what, this is aggressive.
Well, they tried to get him on a hard count earlier. Maybe that's what they're going for here.
Hairston may punt this. He may back up and punt this ball.
They're going for it. And Brandon Hood got the first down. I hope Dan Campbell's watching because I don't know if even he would make that decision. Wow.
Well, I think for the Minutemen, it was a situation where they're like, look, it's late in the half. We need to find a way to give ourselves a spark. We're going to challenge our guys to go get a first down.
And Hairston throws it out of bounds.
Good decision by Hairston. Again, he's mostly been in straight drop back situations. I think they've got to find a way to get him out on the edge with some rollouts and some things like that. But the problem is they've had such issues blocking these defensive ends, particularly Heldman. They've had so many problems getting him blocked, it makes it that much more difficult.
I'm still kind of shaking my head at going for it. What, 4th down and 2 from your 28? It takes guts, man. Paid off. Hairston to throw again. That ball's dropped. Flag down late as Elijah Ricard's going to be thinking about that when his head hits the pillow tonight.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get, I think that was Kalen Carroll just climbing the back of Donnie Gray.
Number 6, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Yeah, he was guilty. He's all over the back. Watch him come across the middle here. He is all over him there. Yeah, that's the right call, but that's a room service interception for Ricard, and he didn't pull it in.
Reg, I know you're a former DB. You know there is this cliche, right, that a failed wide receiver is a defensive back?
DBs are wide receivers with bad hands. Yep, we've heard all of them. That might be true, though.
Hairston, the deep drop. Checks it down, and again, Rocco Griffin is free. Man, that's been really successful with them in this first half. That little check down to Griffin.
Yeah, if he can evade the first defender on the pass rush and the back just kind of leaks out, they lose him with these linebackers because they're so aggressive getting to the quarterback that if they can make some of those easy dump-offs, they can create some opportunities like they did right there with Rocco Griffin.
Watch the clock now. UMass with those timeouts and 40 seconds on the clock. Hairston, long throw, backpedaling catch, well done by Dia Johnson. Jackson pushed him out of bounds, but here we go again, movement on the drive for UMass.
And it's a first down, but the other thing I would say here, this is a perfect opportunity to look deep into the middle of the field. Most teams are going to try to not give you the sideline. They want you to throw middle. You have timeouts, and oh, by the way, it's college football. The clock stops on first down, so don't be afraid to use the middle of the field vertically to pick up a first down and get the clock stopped at the same time.
A sneaker run to Griffin, and he's tackled across the 30 to the 28-yard line. First timeout burned here by UMass.
Massachusetts.
I actually like that call. You're in a situation where you know you have timeouts in your pocket. You're moving the football. They're expecting you to throw. So maybe you sneak a run in there. If you pop one and pick up a first down, great.
Yeah.
If you get 3 yards, 4 yards like you did there, no harm, no foul, because you can call timeout.
Watching this first half, it's hard not to be impressed by the fight back from UMass. Let's call a spade a spade. This is a down-to-the-studs rebuild. A team that hasn't won a game yet. A team heartbreaking loss in the final 25 seconds at home last week to Buffalo. And they fall down big in this game. But defensively, twice late in this first half, they've gotten stops, and now their offense to close out the half is moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, and they need a strong finish to the half because they've really struggled in the second half. Saw it there, just 13 points in the second half as a football team. A large amount of those came last week as well.
Run it with Hood. And he's brought down by Blackwell. Again, short of the first down. And Joe Harris-Simiak gets in the steps, races down the sideline, and calls the timeout.
I think Harris-Simiak, the other thing he's looking at here, too, is he's making sure that they eat up as much of this clock as possible. If he has to kick a field goal to end the half and whatever the result is, there's no time on the clock, I think he'll take that as well. So right now, just trying to make sure they're the last team with the football.
Facts are stubborn things, and UMass wishes that stat would change. Reg, you were talking about the field goal range here for Derek Morris, the kicker. They are firmly in his range. He has made a 53-yard field goal this year. Right about as it stands here, you're looking about 40, 41 yards from this spot.
I watched him in pregame. He was hitting 50-yarders with about 15 yards to spare. So he's got the leg to do it, and he was doing that at both ends of the field.
Hairston keeps this time. A.J. Hairston, first down and more. Jackson took him out of bounds short of the 10, so they can't get a first down without scoring the touchdown.
That's a good job by Hairston, just understanding he can still get out of bounds. Douglas goes the other way, and then you see Maddox Blackwell unable to read it properly there also. And Hairston with a nice run gets out of bounds. Now they're down inside the 15, 20 seconds to go with a timeout in their pocket. I'd take a shot at the end zone here right now. Maybe a slot fade to Massey on that right side.
Hairston will take a shot. Floats it to the end zone. No. Massey fell down as Jackson was right there in coverage.
Yeah, he kind of threw almost more of a deep out is kind of what it ended up looking like with the throw, but that's exactly what you like there. You get a slot fade, you got a rolled up corner on the outside, so just throw the fade over the top of that corner and force that inside guy to play one-on-one. Jackson does a nice job there.
UMass does have the one timeout, so hypothetically they could sneak in a run. Griffin's the back. They'll throw it with Hairston. AJ floats it out of play. And now it's 3rd down and 10, and there's 9 seconds on the clock, so you got to keep that in mind here too.
I think whatever you do, you take a shot at the end zone. It's a quick throw here, right? It's a fade, it's a slant, something like that right away. You got to go right now, and if it's incomplete, then you kick the field goal. If it's complete and you're short, timeout, kick the field goal. Best case scenario, it's complete and it's a touchdown.
Markovich, the tight end, in motion. Hairston throws, incomplete again. There is a flag. As they wrapped up Hairston low, Decker and Heldman were in there.
There's no foul for an intentional grounding. Number 17 was in the area. 4th down.
So best case scenario here for UMass, you don't get the touchdown, but for them, fingers crossed, knock on wood, you still get the field goal.
Last one with the football, right? And that's the biggest key. The last thing you needed was this offense from Central Michigan to get back on the field and put more points on the board before the half.
The former Cal Golden Bear, now UMass Minuteman, Derek Morris, from 29 yards, swings that right leg and ends the first half with 3 points for UMass. So the decision for UMass to go for 4th and 2 inside their own 30 pays off. They get a field goal at the end of the half. But so far, here at Kelly Short Stadium, it's been a happy homecoming for Central Michigan.
college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Stick with us here in Mount Pleasant. Top plays for the MAC football season on the way when you come on back.
The college football playoff.
Happy homecoming here in Mount Pleasant. 101st homecoming game here at Central Michigan today. The tradition here is rich. It is deep. Some of the biggest names in the history of college football have played here at Central Michigan. Let's take a look back at the best plays from the last week of action.
So, you know, a guy like you, you'd be one of the greatest coaches ever play around.
That was a tee-up to call me out there, is what you're saying. Gonna slice through traffic. I didn't call this play. Coach Jaranovich did. It is a big one down the sideline. Quay, Ashley inside of the 10, and into the end zone he goes. 69 yards for Ashley.
He told us Ashley is faster than you think, guys. We know him to be a physical, violent runner, and you're going to see him breaking tackles there. But this is top-end speed now. I don't see anybody really running him down.
Vince Karras has dialed up the pressure for the Rocket defense.
Here they come, and the punt is blocked. Picked up right off the foot. Touchdown, Toledo. Right off the foot, textbook block by Eric Williams, the block. And look at its...
About 10 minutes ago, Roberson, high ball, Victor Snow in the corner. He got it! Touchdown, Buffalo! Impossible!
The first thing is you cover Victor Snow, the man coverage on the outside, no safety help over the top. And he runs a corner route, and he's got 2 feet down. I mean...
Halftime here in Mount Pleasant. Homecoming game between Central Michigan and UMass. We've got the highlights and stats from our first half of ball when you come on back right after this. If that doesn't bring a smile to your face as a Midwesterner, I don't know what does. Fall foliage. Look at that, baby, in all its glory. I see some red. I see some orange. Oh, that's fantastic. Just get yourself to an apple orchard and watch some football, and you got a full fall day in the Midwest. Evan, Reginald Walker Jr., glad you're joining us here from Kelly Short Stadium tonight. Reg, when we look back at these first half highlights, right, you're going to see a lot of highlights for Central Michigan early on, and with good reason. Chippewas were taking the game to UMass early, but to the Minutemen's credit, for a team that hasn't won a game yet this year, they battled down the stretch in that first half.
Yeah, they really did. Their resilience showed through, and then I thought they did a lot of really nice things in that first half. You get past a couple of drops, and maybe they have more points on the board. A couple big drops really hurt them in some drives, particularly in that second quarter. But what you did see, really from both teams, was really good efficiency, particularly in the running game for this Central Michigan offense. Biggins got it going early, and they kept it going consistently through that first half, and they were finishing drives. Townsend showed his ability as well. Big-time first half for the redshirt freshman.
Whole bunch of bodies carrying the ball for Central Michigan. You know, UMass, A.J. Hairston Jr., it feels like, Reggie, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but watching him and watching that whole UMass offense in the first half, it feels like when they start to stop doubting themselves and start to let it rip, it's really going to open up more for them. Because Central Michigan, it feels like, has already gotten to that point.
Yeah, Central Michigan very comfortable in what they're trying to do. They're doing an excellent job running the football to set up explosive plays in this passing game, and that's how you do it. You set it up, you run the football well, all of a sudden those linebackers' eyes get dirty, and then you can go over the top and hurt those safeties as well. And then the finishing of drives, that's the biggest key. Central Michigan has finished their drives, and the UMass Minutemen have really struggled to finish drives and stay on the field. 1 of 9 third downs. But I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me there, as much as Central Michigan had the football, only 5 situations where they had to try to convert a third down.
I think my favorite stat from the first half that's not on the screen, Central Michigan in their win at Bowling Green last week threw the football 5 times. They're already over that in the first half. They threw 7 passes. It's an aerial assault.
It really is, and they've done it with both quarterbacks. Labus and Flores both have been guys that have attacked this defense passing the football. And then when you look at it from that standpoint, all you can say about this offense is efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. And that's very, very important.
As Central Michigan gets the ball to start the second half, if you're UMass, how do you get a stop and stay in this game going into the fourth quarter?
I think on that first play or the first couple of plays, you got to load up and try to create a negative play. Try to get them in a situation where they're predictable, meaning Central Michigan offensively. Make their offensive selection something that you want it to be. Make them do whatever you want and get yourself ahead of the chains. See if you can get a quick 3 and out, get the ball back, go down and get some points, and Uncle Mo's at your back.
Something we have to watch for as well. Central Michigan's Angel Flores, one of their great quarterbacks, he apparently left the game late in the first half. We'll see if we get any word on that. But if it's just the one quarterback, Joe Labus, how do things change for the Chippewas offensively?
Well, I think the main thing is if Joe Labus makes a big run, you can expect he's going to hand it off on the next play because you can't just swap the quarterbacks out. So that's something to keep an eye on mainly in this second half.
We'll keep it going for Central Michigan. We'll keep an eye on that. As their fans on homecoming, I have no idea what that dance is, but they're happy here on homecoming. watching the MAC on ESPN. About to start the second half on homecoming from Kelly Short Stadium in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, where there's a lot of delicious food options. And I know, Reggie, you checked one out last night.
Absolutely. The good eats, if you will. Smokehouse. Mountain Town Brewing Company and Smokehouse Tavern, I believe is called. Really, really good food. Their Caribbean jerk wings were solid, but the fries were exquisite, by the way, and had an excellent burger as well. There was some salmon on the table. Somebody was being healthy, but it was not me. Shout out to our producer, Mark, holding it down, keeping me healthy by eating healthy for me.
Speaking of health, we've got a big storyline here. Angel Flores, the quarterback for Central Michigan, one of their two quarterbacks. We're being told that Angel's not coming back in the second half. So this is Joe Labus's show the rest of the way. And it will be very curious to see how different, if at all, the offense looks with the quote-unquote passing quarterback in there for the rest of the game. Angel Flores showed in the first half that he can throw it just fine, but without him out, I wonder, Reg, how the offense changes it all for the Chips.
Yeah, absolutely. You start thinking about things like a big run by the quarterback. Is how predictable is the next play call, because maybe he needs some rest, right? You start asking yourself, you know, the way that they have been able to interchange quarterbacks, conditioning. Where's that for Labus? Because he hasn't had to be out there 8, 9, 10, 11 plays in a row. So little things like that are the details to watch here without Angel Flores in this second half.
Trey Cornish will start as the back in this full house look out of the shotgun. Biggins in there as well. They get it to Nari Biggins. And number 5 cuts it up, gains about 8 yards on first down. Jim Chapin, coming into this game, was very aware, offensive coordinator for Central Michigan. I know when Labus comes in, everyone thinks we're throwing. When Flores is in, they think we're running, so we got to break tendency. I guess with one quarterback now, he can really do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That playbook is wide open for one guy, right? And I think the other thing about it is he's done a nice job, in my opinion, Coach Chapin, that is, of being able to make sure there are tendency breakers in this offense.
Lewis in motion. Back to Biggins. Not a lot. He's going to lose yardage on this play. Whole bunch of Minutemen there. Tyler Martin was one of the men in there. And now here's one of these interesting play calls coming up. There was a late flag on what would be third down.
Yeah, this is what you want if you're UMass. Predictable third down play calls. If, in fact, we'll see what this penalty is first.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 54. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
It's Malachi Madison, the guilty party.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I didn't see exactly where that penalty happened, but those are the kinds of things for UMass that have really hurt them this year. They get a chance to potentially get a 3 and out. Penalty hurts them. They give up a first down off a penalty.
Townsend's checked in at running back. That's who's got the ball, and he couldn't keep his feet. Malcolm Green, one of the men to make the tackle with Zeron Daniel. Thinking about this too, right, Reg? When you've got Labus in the gun with whoever the back may be, there's not really the threat to run that Flores brought. So a Central Michigan offense that already stalled at the tail end of the first half has got to get the thing cranked up again.
Yeah, they really do. And I think the main thing is they got to find a way to create something explosive in this passing game and get those linebackers back. They've started to, the UMass linebackers have started to creep up toward the line of scrimmage here late in that first half and here early in the second half.
Quick throw. Townsend, nice catch. Lean back to get it. And how about this effort? Brock Townsend, hello! That's his third touchdown today. Today at Kelly Short Stadium, it's the Brock Townsend show. We're just watching it.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is really, really well done by Townsend. There you see the finish of the play, but where I thought he was at his best is right after the catch point. 2 words, contact balance. He bounces off, works his way back up inside to get back down the sideline. An excellent job by Brock Townsend after the catch.
He's a legacy here at Central Michigan. Brock's dad, Fred, played here with the Chips. And on homecoming, it's only fitting that the son of a Central Michigan alum is bursting onto the scene. Ran for 2 touchdowns in the first half. And how about this catch and run for touchdown 1 in the second half? Brock Townsend, 2 touchdowns in the first half and a 49-yard catch and run for the first touchdown of the second half. And I don't know exactly what his quarterback, Joe Labus, was thinking about on the play, but I think this was the internal monologue. Go, Brock, go. Go. Oh, we scored. Okay, now I got to run down. We're just kicking the extra point here, guys. We got to make it a 21-point game. How are we going to celebrate? Crisp high five. Yep, there we go. Good job, fellas.
AKA, we've been here before, right? That reaction tells me we've been here before. And how about Townsend in this ball game? He's done an excellent job running the football. The 5 carries with the 2 touchdowns, largely in short yardage situations. And then you see there the couple of catches, including that big one for a touchdown there.
Isaiah Johnson makes the fair catch. And that was, to state the obvious, the last thing UMass wanted. You know, they had a stop on that drive that was nullified by a hands-to-the-face penalty that kept the drive going. Then they can't get Townsend to the ground, and they look up, and it's a 3-score game.
It's a 3-score game, another explosive play, and that's the biggest problem. Almost 9 yards, almost 10 yards, I should say, per play. And then the time of possession, which is where they want to be, up over 20 minutes already. And we still have a quarter and some change, and almost 2 quarters, I should say, left in this game.
Play fake for Hairston. AJ, incomplete. Jackson step for step in coverage. Second out.
I'm not sure either the DB or the receiver really found this football. It hits Jackson right in the face as he turns around. Wonder if maybe the sun was in his eyes there and he didn't see it.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of drops in this game where you're honestly wondering how much the sun is playing a factor here. Hairston's alone, and he's got a man over the middle. That's Jake McConaughey for the first time today. Solid gain on second down, makes this third down more manageable.
Does, and again, I just think they've got to find a way to move Hairston around. They're able to hunt him at the same spot on a consistent basis. This defensive line, they've done a really good job of getting to him throughout this ball game. I think UMass may look into getting him to different spots, move him around a little bit, and give him a little bit more time to push the ball down the field. They might have gotten Heldman that time.
They're really hoping they did.
That'd be a first down, very likely.
We've had a couple of these debates today.
Offside, defense, number 97. Movement in the neutral zone causing an offensive reaction. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
You be the judge.
Right in the middle of the screen. It's right there. They get Heldman right away, and he's trying to lobby, but big number 72, Luke Payton, the left tackle there, he's letting the officials know, hey, that's on the defense.
That was the best celebration I've seen all day from Luke. Hairston's got time. He turns the shoulders and throws a pick. Kalen Carroll, the INT.
This ball's poorly thrown. It's simple. You see the route working across the field here. You got to push this to the upfield shoulder. Instead, Hairston throws it underneath. Maybe some concern for Spann, number 15, the safety over the top. You have to throw this ball to the upfield shoulder, not a back shoulder throw. Because you throw a back shoulder, that ball gets picked off. That's the inconsistencies you get sometimes with redshirt freshman quarterbacks.
Central Michigan has been so darn good at these takeaways this year. They forced at least one in every single game. That's their 12th of the season. And Sean Cronin, their defensive coordinator, was telling us, we focus on that. It is not a coincidence that we've had so many takeaways this season. As Trey Cornist kept his feet. Trey Cornist, another solid run and another Central Michigan first down.
I want to get back to your point about the takeaways and how they handle that. Listen to this. That's 11 takeaways as you see the nice run again here by Cornist, getting up the field, getting plenty of yards there. But 11 takeaways this year, 50 points off of those takeaways. So they're expecting to go get points right here. That's about, give or take, 4.5, almost 5 yards per takeaway, or 5 points, I should say, per takeaway. That's very close to touchdown level. They're going to look to attack here and obviously try to make them pay with another touchdown.
Cornist has shown a nice burst on the first couple of runs on this drive. And think about, too, right? Central Michigan, they run the ball a lot, yes, but they have a lot of options that they can do it with. Cornist, Biggins, Townsend, they're all benefiting from this great work up front.
Look at this group right here. Everybody just walls up. DeCorian Temple's involved. We already talked about Rusty Van Wetsinga IV. Shout out to his dad. Got to get all that in there. Getting it done, number 41 on the edge there, the fullback, H-back type player. Physicality, I love fullbacks. Fullback mentality is, I think, something we need more of in football.
Rusty leading the way again for another Central Michigan first down. If your name is Rusty, you can't be a wide receiver. No. You have to be a fullback.
And watch him as a fullback. Bang, takes one guy out, then gets a piece of another guy, and then he's there to push his guy at the end of the play. That's an excellent effort by number 41, trying to make a play for his team. I love the physicality. You see the 200-plus rushing yards. The other thing about this offense, listen to this. They've got 13 explosive runs this year. Those are just the runs over 20 yards. If you count the runs between 10 and 19 yards, that's another 18 coming into today.
This one's a negative play. I believe that's the broadcaster's jinx. Well done.
We do what we can.
And everyone says the broadcasters don't affect the game. Well, here he is, Reginald Walker Jr. up here in the booth, Mr. Nice Suit with all his nice stuff, talking about, hey, Central keeps running the ball. And they're doing all these things good on the ground. Literally the next play, loss of 2.
Loss of 2. But that doesn't, the best thing about that for them, it doesn't deter them from running the ball again. Like, you see a lot of times a team will try to run the football, they get a negative play, and then they immediately throw it like 5 straight times. That is not how they operate at Central Michigan.
Wheel route to Biggins, and he's tackled by Malcolm Green. Malcolm clearly watched the tape. Central Michigan hit Biggins for a touchdown on that exact same play against Wagner in their home opener.
They do an excellent job with those kind of route combinations. They work the running game, see so much quarterback run, and then all of a sudden a back leaks out on a wheel route or something like that, and it's explosive down the sideline. They do a nice job, Coach Chapin does, of building things off of the previous play call or previous play calls in a game.
Davis will keep it. Drives that pile ahead across the 20 to the 19. He doesn't have the first down. They're very well within Cade Graham's field goal range. It feels like the type of play, though, you call when you think you're going to go for it on fourth down.
That's number one, and number two, like, they run A-gap, right? They love getting up the middle, and Coach Drinkle will tell you, like, we're going to dominate between the guards. Like, that's where we want to win. Guard, center guard, that area, we are going to dominate you, and it doesn't matter what you try to do about it. We're not going to let you win in that space.
They'll snap it on fourth down 3. Labus, throw, first down and more. Fourth down, touchdown, Nasir Williams for 6. That's the first college touchdown for the redshirt freshman from Tallahassee.
Watch the protection up the middle. They do an excellent job. Guard, center guard. Watch Dason Smith, number 73, does a nice job. It's easy for those guys. They keep everything loose. Easy throw that time for Labus on the crossing route to Williams. Step over lines, touchdown.
Well, Angel Flores isn't playing in the second half. Will Central Michigan have problems with merely one quarterback? The firm answer is no.
On the field.
Labus throws for another one, and the chips are rolling. Well, Reg was talking about it when this happened for Central Michigan. They turn turnovers into touchdowns, and that is exactly what just happened for Central Michigan. They get the interception with Kalen Carroll on a poorly thrown ball from A.J. Hairston. The Cincinnati transfer high points the ball, gets the pick. And what happens a few plays later? You nailed it. Conversion, fourth down, leads to a touchdown.
Yeah, crossing route Nasir Williams, with great protection, I should say, from this offensive line, gives Labus plenty of time to wait for Williams to clear, drops it in the bucket, and then Williams does the rest with the speed and the good vision to get in the end zone. That's how you quickly turn defense into offense.
By the way, can you tell that Nasir Williams is from Florida? The man is bundled up like he's going to the North Pole. It's in the 50s, man. Come on now.
Okay, look, Michigan native, calm down. It's cold to the rest of the world.
Okay, and people can't say, oh, these TV weak people, they're inside. No, we are in an outdoor booth today. We are with the people.
We are in the elements. We are in the elements.
That's
you see us there.
Hi.
We're in the elements. And I got no gloves, see? We're good. We're good.
I think when the sun goes down and the lights come on in the fourth quarter, that hat you were wearing before the game's coming on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I will make sure to be warm when need be.
UMass trying to get some juice back in this offense. Haven't scored yet in the second half. Hairston throws back to Griffin, and that play was blown up. The guy who just had the pick, Kalen Carroll, the strong tackle.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Kalen Carroll, staying disciplined, understanding he had the backside flat area. He sits down, sees something come back to him, and he's there to make a play. That's well done, good discipline and good execution by this defense.
Central Michigan is quickly approaching maybe their best offensive day of the season. Did drop 49 in a game against Wagner. Hairston's got time. They keep attacking Kalen Carroll, and he is saying play after play, stop doing that, guys. They were hoping for Donnie Gray Jr.
Yeah, Donnie Gray couldn't get free that time. Carroll has really been solid at that cornerback position. Over there up to the boundaries, done a really nice job understanding everything that's happening in front of him. Soft coverage at times, press man at other times. He's really varied his defense today and played well.
Third down long. Hairston with a flag down. Misses Gray. Let's check the flag.
This might be a hold on the defense. I think Kenyon Massey, number 0, may have gotten held as he tried to work across the field.
Number 4, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Yep, it's on Jayon Jackson, and the drive continues.
Yeah, Kenyon Massey was trying to work kind of a little bit vertical and then across the field to Hairston's left and just got grabbed by Jayon Jackson.
Matt Drinkle not going to like that. Hairston, throw. Carroll makes the tackle. They keep trying him. Quick throw to the far side of the field, and Tyree Kelly, 9th catch of the season. Another guy with warm blood. It's from Georgia, transfer from USF. USF took one on the chin today. First loss of the year, lost at Memphis. Memphis has pulled off a couple of upsets this year. As Hairston throws high and incomplete. The Memphis reference, Reg, was solely for your dad.
Well, I'm all about it, right? And my dad is fired up because the Tigers got the win. They dropped a tough one last week at UAB. UAB was coming off of having fired Trent Dilfer, their head coach. And so they came out fired up. They found a way to get Memphis. Memphis comes back. Memphis comes back, gets a big win against South Florida today. So now South Florida, it looks different for them, because they're sitting on actually 2 losses, one to Miami earlier in the year, and now also to Memphis. So their playoff hopes likely very much in peril at this point out of the group of 5.
Hairston finds a wide open man. First down and more. That's the second catch of the drive for Kelly.
So nice job by Kelly. There's a zone there. So he just goes right over the middle of the field and just sits down. There's nobody anywhere near him. That's a nice job. Just sit in that zone, wait for the football, make a nice catch for your quarterback.
UMass wanted to snap it quick, and Hairston's mad, motioning to Kelly.
Ball start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I think that's why AJ was mad.
That kind of penalty is always on the quarterback. Always on, because yes, it may take a guy forever. You just have to wait. You can't go before your guys are set. And as the quarterback, you're supposed to be surveying that, making sure everybody is properly set. Then that time, nobody's set. He wasn't set, I should say, Hairston, and he gets that snap before he's ready for it.
I mean, you just hope nobody gets hurt on a play like that, because half of the UMass offense isn't even moving on this play.
No, and obviously, I guess it was on 2, which means the second clap in this offense because they used the clap count, and I guess he snapped it at 1. And that's another thing that can derail a football team, little things like that in big moments. You've had 2 negative plays right here. Now you're staring at a 2nd and 17.
Hairston, throw. There's Massey. They get a large chunk back here and at least give them a shot on 3rd down.
And that's a rhythm throw. Look at Hairston get back to that 3rd step and let that thing rip. That's what you need to see more of from him, being decisive, seeing the reads as they develop. Not once they develop, but as they develop, and anticipating the throw and getting the football there right when the receiver's ready for it and open.
Line to gains the 37. Massey, the man in motion. Hairston throw. Catch Dowling. That's going to be a face mask.
Yeah, they get Maddox Blackwell this time on the face mask. So another big chunk picked up here for this UMass offense. They've got to make sure to pay off this drive.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty for the run. Automatic, 1st down.
It's just an effort play, right? Right here, Blackwell, he thought he had a chance at the football, and then right there, he's just reaching for a piece of the offensive player, and he ends up with the face mask, and he knew it right away.
All right, drive for UMass coming up on the fringe of the red zone here. Hairston got it out quick, and it's incomplete to Hood. You know, this is a spot, Reg, where in a weird way you almost feel for the Central Michigan defense, because barring something weird happening, they're going to win the game. They're up by 28 points. We're coming down the stretch in the 3rd quarter, so it's human nature not to keep up the effort you had when the game was still within shouting distance in the 1st half.
That's true, but I think what it comes down to is the mentality of the program, and I think that's what Coach Drinkle's been talking about, is like, you have to play every single play like it is the play that will win the game. And that's the mentality and the standard that he's trying to set in this program as they go incomplete, trying to attack again Kalen Carroll.
They keep trying him on about 70% of the last 10 plays. They keep trying number 6, and he's got to be thinking, why do you keep doing it? I mean, I had the interception. Did you not see it?
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure he's having some conversations out there. This time with Tyree Kelly, the 6'3" junior out of Cairo, Georgia, lined up in front of him.
They're down 10. Hairston. There's a hold on UMass. Hairston runs out of bounds to avoid taking a hit. You would assume Central Michigan's going to decline the hold here on UMass. Right now, as we're sitting, it's about a 49-yard field goal attempt.
Which is why they may take it.
Right.
To take them out of field goal range.
Holding, offense, number 55. Penalties decline, result of the play, the 4th down.
And for now, UMass is going to leave the offense on the field.
Might as well. And you see it, it's right up the middle. Again, look at Douglas and Heldman. 2 guys just create a problem, and Douglas gets grabbed by number 55, Benjamin Roy Jr., the center. Just gets overwhelmed on that play and reaches and grabs.
Derek Morris is on the field. First one from 29. Harris Simiak didn't see something he liked. He calls timeout.
Timeout,
as he had
Massachusetts. Their first charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Jermaine Wiggins Jr. was late coming on the field. The
Correction.
suspense builds for the
Full
field goal
timeout
after the break.
on the field.
This may be a situation where it's a reverse icing the kicker, because Joe Harasimiak, the head coach for UMass, was forced to burn a timeout before the media timeout because they didn't have all the blockers on the field goal unit. So we take the media timeout, and now Derek Morris, on a high 40s day now in Mount Pleasant, just had to stand around for 3 minutes before he can try a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, the way he was booming them in pregame, he's got the leg for this. The accuracy we'll see, but he's got plenty of leg to make this 50-yarder.
The operation is clean. Does he have the leg? You bet he does. Derek Morris for 3 from 50.
Again, I mean, the leg was never in question. This guy in pregame was booming him. I was not worried about the leg. And look, he's like, yeah, I've done this before. I know how to act like I've been there. He holds the record, right? The longest field goal in school history is 53 yards. He has that now. He just added a 50-yarder to it.
A lot of highlights today for Central Michigan, including from Brock Townsend. In a season where Nari Biggins and Trey Cornist have been doing a lot of the running for the Chips, today Brock Townsend has been doing a lot of running and catching and then running. A couple of running touchdowns in the first half, a 49-yard catch and run for a touchdown in the second half. It's a great big smile on that man's face.
And now he's back there to return kicks. He's been flat out balling. I think right now he's hot, right? So the last thing you want to do if you're UMass, don't kick it to him, because he might do something with that too.
We still got 4 minutes to go in the third quarter and a whole fourth quarter. Can Brock get 4? Maybe 5?
The legacy.
His dad played here. Marcus Lai kicks it away. Brock wanted to catch that ball. Did you see that?
He did. But they both threw up the fair catch signal, so there's that. But I wondered if at some point they would test this UMass kick coverage unit that's given up almost 26 yards of return. And they haven't so far in this game. They've been willing to line up at the 25-yard line and then look across the field and go, watch this, and go the distance of the field and drive it and go get touchdowns.
In case you're a Central Michigan fan just flipping on the game and going, where's Angel Flores? He hasn't played since the tail end of the first half. He's not going to return today. But Joe Labus' show this whole second half. First throw of this drive is caught. It's Langston Lewis, escorted out of bounds by Malcolm Green and Zeron Daniel.
That's another, we've been talking about tendency breakers throughout this game. That's another one, right? A first down throw. You get soft coverage on the outside, a little double hitch concept there. Catch it, get up the field, first down.
Jim Chapin, the offensive coordinator for Central Michigan, was talking about this in the lead up to the game. He was fully aware that they threw the ball exactly 5 times when they run down the road at Bowling Green. As Labus throws again, DC Temple makes his second catch and does get the first down for Central Michigan. Jim Chapin said, look, I learned a ton about my skill guys, my wide receivers last week. They never got the ball. They still played hard. They didn't complain. I thought it spoke a lot about the group, that they basically did nothing the whole game, and we still got the results we want.
And I took from that 2 words, message received. From Coach Drinkle and his staff about the culture they want to build, the team concept, right? As long as we win, don't worry about your numbers. Just let's find a way to win football games. We'll deal with the numbers later. That's a good mentality that the message has been received.
Townsend on the run again, gains a couple on first down. Jim Chapin is totally cool with football games looking like they have for Central Michigan. When he was the coordinator at Eastern Washington last year, they were top 5 in FCS in rushing.
Well, I think that's the other thing, right, is as a coach, sometimes fans get caught up in how it looks. Coaches don't care. They just want the win. And that's the epitome of that when you look at a program like Central Michigan right now. Listen, running the football 75% of the time, some fan bases don't love that. But they look at it and go, we have a chance to win. The coaching staff looks at it and goes, this is our best chance to win, so we're going to keep doing it. and they've had a ton of success with it so far this season, so why change?
And if there's any place that's going to understand running the ball, it is the state of Michigan, because down the road tonight, they've got an important football game. It's Michigan against Michigan State.
Yep.
And for so long, Bo Schembechler, the head coach at Michigan, if they threw the ball 8 times in a game, it was a really high-powered day throwing the football. But Bo would always go, you know, when you put the ball in the air, 3 things can happen and 2 are bad.
There you go. It's a great point. And having played for a guy like Joe Paterno who had a similar mentality, I get it. As you see, Labus takes his time, picks his way, and picks up a first down because he's a – this is like running back patience. Look at him follow Townsend. Nice block by Townsend. Big number 73, Dason Smith's out in front doing work as well. But look at Labus just kind of wait for it to open up. Nice little cut back to the inside, takes the punishment, gets a nice little gain. That ball popped out.
Yeah.
He kept a hold of it.
Joe's psyching himself back up after almost fumbling. This is a formation Bo would love. Let's hand it to Cornish behind 2 blocking backs, and let's gain 3 yards with a whole lot of turf pellets.
There you go. That's it. It's turf pellets now. It was a cloud of dust back in the day, particularly in Happy Valley. Look at this. 49 snaps, 37 rushes. That is, they should have wrote on the bottom of this graphic, equals identity. Because that's what that graphic and that play selection is all about. That's an identity of a football team and an understanding of how you want to win games.
These Chippewas run it 71% of the time coming in, and that stat's not changing after today. Cornish again. A couple more yards as the pile moves. And Central Michigan will have 3rd down and medium when we start the 4th quarter right after this. The 101st anniversary of homecoming here in Mount Pleasant, and it's going to be a happy one. That man wants this fourth quarter to go really fast so he doesn't miss the start of Michigan or Michigan State tonight. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Can't wait to fire up the ESPN app tonight and watch Texas A&M LSU. You got to lean on that game?
Ooh. Listen, Brian Kelly, LSU, they got a ton of athletes. I think this game is going to be closer than the experts think. How about that?
That sounds good, Lee. That sounds good.
Shout out to our guy, Lee Corso, retired this year from College Game Day. Had a chance to work with him a few years. Great guy. Great guy.
Third down to start the fourth quarter for Central Michigan. Biggins behind Labus. They give it to him. Nari Biggins. First down. Nari says, I got it by just that much. The drive continues.
Yeah, I love that the way they do that, right? Because they use the motion going the other way to bring any kind of edge defenders down towards the middle of the field. That time it was number 1, Malcolm Green, and then they're able to reach him and get the edge. So it's a really nice job. They formation their way into what they want, and then they do a nice job executing and get the edge.
Biggins up the middle. Oh, he lost the ball. That ball is free. UMass thinks they got a takeaway. Labus thinks it's Central Michigan ball. It's UMass football. And they'll take that. That's their 7th forced turnover
Ruling
of the
on the
season.
field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
That's the 5th lost fumble for this Central Michigan team this season. There's one sort of issue they've had on offense. It's putting the football on the ground.
Labus almost fumbled earlier in the drive. So as a great American poet once said, ball don't lie. I guess it was destined to be a fumble at some point on that possession for Central.
Was that poet's name Rasheed Wallace?
Sure was. Sure was. You can put it on the front page, back page. They will not win game 2. That is a deep cut for Detroit sports fans. So UMass gets the football back and valuable reps for their young and growing offense and quarterback A.J. Hairston. He'll drop back, set up screen, and it looked like Brandon Hood got caught in the wash there.
I like the call. They just didn't execute it very well, and it was also against the blitz, which made it that much more difficult. But I like the mindset of trying to do something a little bit different, impact that pass rush just a little bit, because you know they're pinning their ears back coming after Hairston.
Throwing again, and this time low. Look, I know it's a 25-point game. It's a fourth quarter. It feels like UMass has totally abandoned the run game.
Official timeout for an offensive injury.
Down. That's Luke Payton.
Yeah, and part of it, right, on that particular play, getting back to Hairston in particular, he tried to aim that ball instead of throwing it, right? And he didn't get his feet underneath him properly, and that cost him on that particular play. But they do, I think, still have to stick to some of the principles of their offense, run the football in some spots, obviously throwing the ball as well, and find a way to just figure out what it is they want to consistently be great at. Keep an eye on the left side here. Here's Payton. He just kind of gets maybe stepped on. Yep, that's that right foot of Douglas, I believe. Can't tell if that's 85 or 95. That's either Joey Van Wetzinga 95 or Douglas 85. Kind of steps on that foot, and then he turns that left leg awkwardly. And now they're checking out that knee. So you wonder, you hope he's okay, but he's got the big knee braces on to keep those knees as stable as possible. You hope there's nothing major injured here.
Luke spent 5 years at Columbia. He actually started his college career as a tight end. He was a D-end in high school. He also played high school lacrosse. He was a long stick midi at Berks Catholic in Pennsylvania. Imagine that guy, who he's 6'7", 320 now. I'm sure he was a little slimmer when he was in high school. But imagine that guy with that long lacrosse stick coming down the field. Good luck.
6'5", they're 6'7", I should say. All that size. And There he is. He's up, and it's good to see him working his way off on his own power.
And somewhere Luke's family, friends are watching and go, yeah, we remember him in high school, Axe. He's pretty good.
7th-year college player. He's been around a long time, but
decent couple of schools, by the way, to go to and get a degree. Columbia and UMass.
Yeah,
not bad. There's a bunch of Ivy League transfers on this UMass team. Because the first school they were at wasn't hard enough academically. So, you know, just go to another tough school. Why not? Third down long again. Hairston's got a lot of time. AJ throws in complete. They were hoping for Hood, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, that's the 4th one today that should have been a completion for Hairston that was just flat out dropped. You look at his numbers, and you kind of wonder, you know, what it would be if, you know, they get a couple of those plays that are just caught, right? He's 14 of 35, but automatically you go up to 18 of 35, maybe a couple other situations where he wouldn't have had to throw if those balls were completed, and the numbers and the efficiency may look completely different for UMass in this ballgame.
Andrews is going to punt it. Caleb Span's back at the 15. Another high hanger, and Caleb makes the fair catch at the 20-yard line. 14 minutes to go. Central Michigan counting down to their 3rd home win of the year. We've spent a lot of time, and with good reason tonight, talking about the Van Wetzinga family. There's a couple of them on this team. Rusty has been leading the way as a blocking fullback today, and his brother has been making plays happen. Joey has on the defensive line. A couple of guys from Iowa. You knew the former Iowa Hawkeye, Matt Drinkle, new head coach here in Mount Pleasant. He's really happy to have those two hard-nosed dudes on his football team.
I'd love to know how much furniture got torn up in the house with Joey taking on Rusty coming up the middle, right? Like the Oklahoma drill, all those things those two guys may have done against each other. I'd love to know how much they tore up in the house as they grew up, showing that toughness.
Cornish the back here with Labus, another former Iowa Hawkeye, and a couple of yards for the Chips on first down. So, I don't know if anybody in their family's watching. Please reach out to us, social media, however you got to do it, to let us know what that household was like growing up. A. B. Over/under weekly grocery bill, $150. We going over and
I'm
under?
going to go well over.
Okay.
Well, you said weekly.
Yes.
So I'm going to go over slightly. But if you would have said biweekly, oh, that's got to be a good $400 every couple of weeks. So I would say about $200 a week.
It's a free play. UMass jumped. Pass was incomplete. Okay, next over-under. Gallons of milk per week in the Van Wetzinga household growing up. 1.5. Over or under?
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna say 2.5.
Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
You can't become Division I athletes. You can't have two kids who become Division I athletes. And, you know, we're going multiple gallons of milk, and we're probably going whole milk, right? Come on.
Yeah, you're talking about 500 pounds of man in your house. Like, that's shout out to mom for making sure the meal, like, well, mom and dad, somebody had to cook the meals too. Well, at certain points, maybe they started to cook for themselves.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure they take advantage of the training table and meal plan here in Mount Pleasant. Cornice on the run. It's a first down for Central Michigan. Tim Randall, the EMU transfer, Eastern Michigan transfer, made the tackle. Central Michigan, the whole thing, Reggie, coming into this game was if they win this game, it sets up a potentially November to remember, because next Saturday afternoon they go down the road to their hated rivals, Western Michigan, who's winning by 2 points at Miami right now in the fourth quarter. If both these teams hang on, that could be a battle for maybe whoever wins the MAC in the regular season. And then Buffalo would be after that for the Chips. Buffalo took one on the chin today. They lose on the road at Akron after Buffalo pulled out that miracle late against UMass last week. So Central Michigan has got Western Michigan, who no matter what will be 4-0, 3-1, and then 3-1 Buffalo. In the month of November, it's going to be all on the table for them.
It's right in front of them, right? And it's a Kent State program that hasn't been the greatest over the last few years, so an opportunity there. And Toledo's playing a non-conference game out at Washington State today.
Oh, jump ball, and what a play. Nasir Williams on a free play makes another play in this second half. Already the touchdown, and this is a heck of a play.
Defense, number 54. Penalties decline. Result of play is a first down.
That's how you attack a back shoulder, right? Look at this. Attack, go get it. Nice job, and it's well thrown by Labus because he put it in a spot where he could go get it away from the defender, but he didn't throw it too wide or too far to where he would end up out of bounds. He gave him a chance to catch it and stay in bounds. Well executed by Labus, and a great job by Williams going to get it.
Townsend on the run. You have a couple on first down. Going back to that point about everything's in front of Central Michigan. Listening to Matt Drinkle and the coaching staff talk after they had a really tough start to the season. 3 straight road games, San Jose State, Pitt, and Michigan. And they lost the game at Michigan by 60 points. But they played darn near the whole team in all those games. And Coach Drinkle said we were strategic in those games. We knew no matter what, we were getting ready for MAC play. We want to win a MAC championship. And so far that plan is proving to be true with the way the season is turning out.
Well, and the other thing is you got a chance to battle test a lot of different guys. How do they respond to different scenarios? How do they respond in certain situations? You got answers from those guys in non-conference play so that once you got into conference play, you knew what you had. That's very important. It's difficult for coaches to figure that out, especially in today's era with so many different players, so many different moving parts. You have to be able to figure out what guys are going to give your football team and how to slot them into roles, and that gave them a chance to do that.
Got to get 5 or more here to keep the drive going. On the ground with Cornice. He stood up short of the first down. Nice tackle in the middle there by Eric Hale. Redshirt junior from Newport Beach. And it's 4th down.
The down and distance means nothing to Central Michigan. They're going to go for it here, looking to just continue to chew up this clock. Look, they're obviously one of the best in the country, 22nd in the country with, listen to this, 32 minutes basically time of possession per game, 31 minutes 59 seconds to be exact. That is big time.
Cornist was met in the backfield, and he's not even close. You gotta respect the fight at UMass in this second half. Marcus White, who's usually a pass rusher, was a run stuffer.
On field.
White has a sack today, but this may be his most impressive play.
The college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Got some games that are going to define who could be in that college football playoff coming up tonight. Texas A&M, LSU. Ever since A&M won that game at Notre Dame earlier in the year, it kind of felt like they were on collision course for the playoff. And tonight, Reg, it feels like this is LSU and Brian Kelly and Nussmeier's last stand this season at LSU.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's going to get real uncomfortable down on the bayou for Brian Kelly if they can't find a way. And this is the perfect scenario to get it done. It's at night at LSU, big opponent coming in. That environment's going to be raucous. They got an opportunity to really shake up the world and get themselves right back in the fight in the SEC.
You been to a night game at LSU?
Yes, I have.
Pretty cool, huh?
I don't know that there's an environment like that at night in the country. And yes, that includes
I was about to
whiteouts
say,
at Penn State.
I got a follow-up here as Hairston Hands and Demarion Alberic, his first carry of the game. I was about to say, you're saying LSU's got this great night environment. You're Mr. Penn State whiteout over here. Are you allowed to say such things?
Listen, my job is to tell the truth, not go with my heart. So I mean, listen, the folks down on the bayou, as you see the first down run right there for UMass, the folks down on the bayou, listen, the game might kick at what would be 6:30 local time there because they're Central Time. You go backwards about 12 hours, they're already cooking who knows what and drinking everything under the sun about 6:30 in the morning. So they are lathered up and ready to go. As you see, the false start here stops the play. They're lathered up and ready to go very early down in Baton Rouge.
Number 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
By the time the sun is set in the western sky and it's Saturday night in Death Valley, those folks are ready to go.
Yes.
Ready to go. A quick story here. So when I was a student in college at the Harvard of Central New York, Syracuse University, our student radio station made a trip down there because Syracuse was playing LSU. 1st and 15, Hairston throws. And that pass is incomplete. Kelly,
nice effort by Kelly.
Kelly couldn't bring it in. So we're walking around, we're students, we're trying to get a sense of the environment, right? And every time you wear the other school's colors down in Baton Rouge, they all yell at you, Tiger Bait! Tiger Bait! Yep. You got like 6-year-olds yelling Tiger Bait at you. But here's the difference. We were wearing Syracuse orange, and Syracuse was not expected to win the game. So they were pretty nice, right? Hairston throw, and that's a nice catch. It'll set up 3rd down and short here as Dia Johnson makes the catch. So after they said that to us, they were like, oh, it's no problem. Glad to have you here. You want some food, want some drink? I have a feeling they're not that nice to Alabama people.
The other thing about that is you say, oh, big time run there, big hit at the end there.
Elijah Ricard had that big hit, but it is 1st down for UMass as Alberic has another nice run.
The question is, the biggest question when you're down there is, what are they offering you to eat? That's because you never know what it is. You just never really know. They put together some things in terms of cuisine down there.
Oh, Hairston threw a great pass. He dropped it in the hands of Keziah Dia Johnson, and he just couldn't haul this in. This is a heck of a throw.
That's a great throw. Put it right where he could against really good coverage. Dropped it in a bucket, and instead, it's dropped.
And the frustration grows for the UMass offense. Hairston throws his 41st pass of the night as a 1st down as they're starting to cycle through these bodies. That's Owen Anderson, the catch, and the UMass 1st down.
Yeah, Owen Anderson, 3rd tight end, all 6'4", about 255, 260 pounds, out of Skillman, New Jersey. The Hun school is an Illinois transfer. How about that? Get a guy from Brett Bielema's program.
Hairston dumps it off. This is a nice catch.
Juwan Price, number 28.
Yeah, his 1st catch of the game. Victor Earl made the tackle as Hairston has a couple of completions in a row.
Yeah, Hairston does a nice job here. He's got a little bit of pressure. He has to change the arm slot. Look at that. He just kind of flips it, almost sidearm there.
Price again for the 1st down. Look, game's over. Central Michigan's going to win this, but for a team in UMass that is young, hasn't won a game yet, their coaching staff understands that this rebuild is going to take some time. Since going to the FBS level, UMass has never had a winning season. This is the type of drive that can give you confidence.
And valuable reps for a young quarterback that the only way, I contend the only way that young players get better is by playing. That is the best way for them to improve. This gives him a bunch of snaps to look at to get better from. That's actually a really nice job that time by McConaughey helping his quarterback out, playing a little DB there against Elijah Gordon, knocking that football away. McConaughey, you see him at the top of the screen, he just kind of works across the back of the end zone. They run a little bit of a combo coverage concept there, and that's a good job by McConaughey playing defensive back, knocking that ball away.
And Hairston a little worse for wear after that. Quarterback injuries have been a problem this year for UMass. They need AJ to stay healthy. Hairston, fastball, incomplete. Looking for that big tight end Anderson again.
I'll tell you what, that goalpost back there is hurting. That was a dart. Hairston put some smoke on that thing, and the goalpost had to deal with it.
Just the 3 points in the 2nd half for UMass. Trying to pay it off with 6 here. 3rd down goal. Hairston, throw, Alberic, catch, and not much after that. That is textbook open field tackling from Jamari Allen.
Yeah, Jamari Allen does a nice job reading that attacks, and you see the UMass struggles in the 2nd half again. Throughout the season, they've really struggled. They've added to that total. That was 13 coming in. They're now up to 16 with just that field goal earlier. This would go a long way in helping them obviously start to feel better about being able to finish games in the 2nd half.
They roll Hairston. Keeps his eyes downfield and throws incomplete. Bend, don't break for a Central Michigan defense that is playing well again. Gave up just 6 at BG last week, and they're good again this week. Story of the second half for Central Michigan on offense has been Angel Flores, one of the quarterbacks, is injured and out. So how's it look with just the one quarterback, Joe Labus? Looks just fine to me.
Yeah, it's just as efficient as we've always seen it. Actually more efficient. As you see the check down here to Townsend, who does the rest on the back end. And then a great read here by Labus. Waits for Nasir Williams to clear on this crossing route, and that turns into a touchdown. They remain efficient. Listen, they're 28th in the FBS, 67% completions. How do they follow that up? Oh, I don't know. Let's just go 12 of 13 between two quarterbacks, over 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and not turn the football over. That's efficient offense, playing to the identity, exactly what Coach Drinko wants, and exactly what the recipe is going to have to be to win a MAC championship.
With the win today, they've set themselves up for what could be a memorable November. On what could be their final drive of the night, they start with a run up the middle and gain a handful of yards with Townsend. Again, this upcoming schedule for Central Michigan. They got the big rivalry game next Saturday, 4 o'clock in Kalamazoo against Western Michigan, who at last check was trying to hang on against Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio has taken the lead in that game, coming on the wire in the fourth quarter, but still, both those teams at worst would be 3-1. And then Buffalo after that, who is 3-1 after a loss today.
And we're close to midweek MACtion time. And that's where it gets real interesting around here.
Oh, it sure does. Sure does. Brock Townsend on another run for a couple of yards. You know, on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights in November, God just intended for you to watch Northern Illinois UMass.
Well, it adds to our fever, right? Because it usually starts like mid or early October, where you get to a point to where there's a football game every day for like 60-something days. It's because of midweek MACtion and midweek Conference USA that gets that done for you.
It just does not get any better. They'll run it again. And Townsend doesn't have the first down. UMass defensive line has really done a nice job at times down the stretch in this game of bottling up the run.
Yeah, they've had moments where they've been able to do a nice job of getting penetration and building a nice wall at the line of scrimmage and not allowing the Central Michigan offense in the running game to be effective. But throughout the game as a whole, obviously have given up their share yards.
Declan Dooley to punt it away. Transfer from Illinois. He was really highly regarded as a punter coming out of high school.
I guarantee you, Coach Drinkle not happy having to punt this ball back. I know for a fact his mentality was they were going to have the ball last with that last possession. He was going to try to bleed the clock out running the football.
Yeah, it's a mentality thing, right? I imagine they're going, okay, we're going to have to close games out in this big month of November we keep talking about. 5-minute scenario. This game is all but wrapped up, but going forward, that's a situation where they got to finish games.
And it becomes something else to coach, right? Like, as a coach, you're always looking for something to coach. That's going to be an example. Coming out of a game, you're up 38-13, 3 minutes to go. Coaches are thinking, what can we coach that we need to get better at? That's going to be one of those things.
Could be our final drive of the night for UMass. A.J. Hairston has thrown it a ton tonight. And he'll throw it again. Long throw, that is caught. Isaiah Dia-Johnson brings it in this time. You know, A.J. Hairston by the end of this night may get to 50 passing attempts. He came in with 123 on the season.
Yeah, he's gonna have a good 50 reps of tape to look at. And that throw right there is an example of where his talent is. That was very well executed. Nice, strong throw to the outside.
Incomplete this time as the coverage was tight. Anderson right there for Central Michigan. Nolan's a freshman from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. You may have guessed there is a heavy Midwestern influence on this Central Michigan team. A lot of guys who play high school football here in Michigan. Playoffs start next week in Michigan. All the high school teams find out who they're playing in the playoffs tomorrow. Hairston, the Floridian, finds an open man over the middle. And that's first down for UMass. Nice job. Demarion Alberic has had some big reps here in the second half.
I gotta ask, what's the conversation like with high school players in this state that get a chance to play at Ford Field?
Oh, they love it.
I mean, that's got to be amazing. Look at Hairston take off and gets pushed down. I think he was going to slide there anyway once he had the first down. Gets pushed down by Alberic, his own guy there, to make sure he doesn't take a big hit.
They're trying to snap it one more time before the 2-minute timeout. They got it off. Hairston steps into a sack. Maybe they should have let that thing go down to the 2-minute timeout. Central Michigan has been meeting at the quarterback for most of this day, and they're about to celebrate a homecoming win.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
We've already talked about the Van Wetsinga brothers for Central Michigan, but lest you think there's just one set of brothers, we got a couple on these Central Michigan Chippewas. Adam Kaminsky is about ready to race after the quarterback. Jacob and Adam, how cool is that, right? I'm sure their mom is either watching this now or going to watch it back and go, what happened to my babies? They're all grown up now. I love those smiles on their faces. It's got to be so cool, right? You're growing up with your brother, and you're probably fighting one another, but you still love each other. And to keep doing this in college, we throw around all the time, dream come true. But with that whole family, this has got to be a dream come true, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got a couple of guys. One's a tight end, one's a D lineman. So here we go again with this fullback D lineman. Now you got tight end D lineman. They get a chance to go at each other. Probably tore up the house as well. How about those two guys getting a chance to play college football with their brother? Not to mention on the other side, Jermaine Wiggins Jr. and Jaden brothers, the son of Jermaine Wiggins, former NFL tight end, playing for UMass. So 3 sets of brothers in this one game today.
Remarkable.
How about that?
Pretty remarkable. So UMass will have a 4th down here as Jacob Kaminsky cheers on Adam Kaminsky. Let's see what kind of pass rush Adam can get here. Good spot to do it, 4th down and long.
The Kaminskys are probably 2 guys that are not cold with their Canadian roots. They're not worried about the temperatures right now.
4th down. Hairston, incomplete. Almost an interception. And Cornerin almost had the pick.
The Dover, Delaware product making a play there.
And this is cool to see. A lot of guys who sometimes don't get minutes, right, just to get to play, not just in any game, but in a conference game. These are guys who have worked on scout. These are guys who are putting in the same work as everybody else, but they're not getting their time to shine. Well, they get their time to shine here. It's really cool.
It is, and it's what they work for, right? They work for an opportunity. And when they finally get it, they want to make the most of it. And right there, Cornerin, and nearly had this place explode by making that play.
Ethan Lane has checked in at quarterback for Central Michigan as they try to get a bunch of bodies into the football game.
Now, Ethan Lane may be cold. He's from Chandler, Arizona.
Notice the long sleeves for Ethan.
Yes. And it's not even truly winter up here yet.
Oh, no.
Or even late fall.
It's balmy, man. Come on now.
It's a balmy 50-ish degrees today.
Sun's out. Fast forward 2 months and you won't see the sun for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and frankly, I'll be cold at that point.
I think I'm allowed to make these jokes. I do live in Michigan.
Yep.
Another new running back into the game. Jacavion Callip is in. I mean, you're allowed to make jokes, right, about the weather. I mean, I live here. Like, this is my people. This is my blood. Full disclosure, my mother went to Central Michigan, so, like, I can't be saying mean things.
Well, it's toughness, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying my blood's thin because I live in the Carolinas. I don't do this anymore. But the people here, I will say this. The atmosphere has been tremendous. My hotel not far from the stadium. You heard it about 8 o'clock this morning. You started hearing the music and the buzz here near campus because people were ready for this football game.
One final carry, and Central Michigan is about to wrap up a happy homecoming. The 101st anniversary of the first ever homecoming game here in Mount Pleasant. And a Central Michigan team, if they won this game today, they set themselves up for maybe a November to remember in Matt Drinkle's first season. With this win today over UMass, they set up what could be a very interesting November for the Chippewa football program.
Yeah, and this is again about identity for this football team and this football program. They were able to be dominant in the running game. We're talking about 279 yards rushing, 5.3 yards per carry. That is who this team and program wants to be.
They call this place Winterfell. We're coming up here and we're making you respect us. Central Michigan gains more respect today. For Reginald Walker Jr. and our whole hard-working crew, Evan Stockton saying so long from Mount Pleasant, where Central Michigan wins again. All games airing on the ESPN Network, streaming live and archived on the ESPN app.